Serum takes you into a world where your timer is your lifeline and getting more time is always on your mind. Can you keep the end at bay or will your timer run out? Because as a survival game, Serum tries to stand out with the timer mechanic. And I really enjoy that because it isn't necessarily an open world survival game, it's an action adventure survival game. Now, not a lot of people know the differences between these, but we actually see a lot of these things, actually, especially in the new upcoming game Stalker 2. What do you think about Serum?
I like the fact that it has a solid story, or at least it has the basis for a solid story so far. It's not just an apocalyptic event has happened and go survive. You still have to survive. You still have to craft. You still have to get supplies. You don't necessarily have to eat, but you still have to make sure you have the stuff you need to make the serum. Because if you don't have the serum, you die. That's what the whole point of the timer is. But there's also a solid story laid out in front of you that you can follow and you can learn about and you can figure out why you're in the position you're in while you're trying to survive.
The timer is everything, and the story is linked to the timer. Tell me about the story dimension. Tell me about the story. Why should people give this game a shot? Because of the story.
Essentially, the story is some corporation has set out to make some type of miracle cure, whether that's a cure to a specific disease or a cure to all diseases. This cure has started to mutate people and things. So they've set up this whole vast laboratory, I guess you would call it. Basically, they built walls around different areas and different environments so that they can start testing the serum on people, on animals, on plants. But it was supposed to be kind of like a slow dose thing to see what happened, to see if they can figure out why it's mutating people and things. But an accident happened
Wait,
as
did you say people?
yeah. Do you remember when I mentioned that it was a cure for something? Well, the cure didn't work the way it was intended and it started mutating people.
Oh, oh God.
Yeah. So when this accident happened in the laboratory, the serum got out into the air and started mutating the plants and the animals and the test subjects that were in there. Even the test subjects that were supposed to be immune to the mutations, because that's who was supposed to be in this testing facility. They were all supposed to be immune to the serum or resistant to the serum, because the more serum you take, the more you kind of start to mutate, and you have to actually get the serum out of your system after a certain amount of time, or you start to hear voices in your head, your arms start to mutate and look different, and you start to lose health.
I have to tell you, my first-hand experiences in this game have been really fun. I really enjoy at looking at the goods. Is that I enjoy the recycling system, which allows me to tear rags into basic components like cloth, metal, antibiotics, stuff like that. From different materials, as well as using materials like wire, scrap metal, blankets, electrical components, so on to build and upgrade my base. I enjoy the serum brewing system, kind of more putting more emphasis on that. And the other thing I really liked was the timer. I really like the emphasis on you actually do have to care about how long you have to be out there, because it's no joke when when your timer runs out, it starts taking your health, and it's like after 20 seconds, it starts taking chunks of your health. So if you're not close to base, you will die. And yeah, cons. I wish you could interact with the environment more. Like when I swing my club or my machete, I want to be able to hear sparks or me hitting the pole or whatever else.
I think some of that stuff hopefully will be improved as we go, because some of that stuff feels like it's just not implemented yet. But I'm excited to see what they're going to do later on, because they're already making so many improvements, and that's one of the pros that I have for the game is the stuff I found problematic in like my first two sessions of playing was resolved by the end of the week, and they were changed. One of the big things I ran into when I first started playing was when you're fighting a creature, it would eventually turn and run away from you. And once it got back to its spawn point, it would instantly go up to full health. And
Cool.
I spent a lot of time fighting one creature because of that. Because you could stop it from running if you had enough stamina. You get up behind it, hit it a few times, and it would turn back around. But if you didn't have any stamina and it took off running away from you and it got back to its spawn point, it would instantly go back to full health. And I don't mean, when I say instantly, I literally mean instantly. I don't mean it started regenning. I mean, when it hit that spot, its health was maxed again. And they've adjusted that since then. They've already patched that. They've already added um, in things that stop that from happening. And it's made the game so
Nice.
much better already. Like I'm excited to see what they're already improving. I love the weapons, like the variety of weapons you can make. You can make a club, you can make a machete that you mentioned, you can make the spear, you can make the bow,
Well, I do like the spear.
and they're all different speeds, they're all different damage, they're all different damage types, which may come into play later on when the combat's changed a little bit. You may have to concentrate on what creatures are immune or resistant to certain damage types, and you may have to use all the variety of weapons. One of the things that I really, really struggled with though is the storage, and not the storage system itself, but the fact that I couldn't upgrade my own backpack. I couldn't upgrade my carry weight yet. And the only way to upgrade storage at the base was to use the words. What are
Craft
words?
table?
Use the crafting table and use supplies to upgrade. Like I think it was 3 tiers you could upgrade the storage, but I filled up that storage within the first like 2 hours of playing the game, and then I upgraded it and I filled that up within another hour. And it's not the game's fault. It's just the fact that I was gathering so much material while I was out to make sure that I had what I needed to do the other upgrades and the repairs. Because, like you said, you can recycle just about everything in the game and get other components. So I'm keeping all the scrap I can find. I'm keeping all the batteries I can find. I'm keeping all the wires I can find. All this stuff I'm bringing back to my base. And if I load up the game right now and showed you underneath where the workbench is, you would just see a pile of plants and scrap just laying on the ground because I had no room in my storage and my backpack was already full. So I did just throw it on the ground because I had too much. The only other thing I would like to see them add in the game at this moment is I want them to make all of the elements they have in your base useful. Now, there's cages and extractors up on the top level of your base that I put creatures in, but I never really use them that often. Now, basically, they extract the mind, body, and soul components that you need to make certain things, and I stock those up. But through recycling all this other material that I've picked up and found on the ground, I already had those components. So I didn't really need the cages and abstractors up top. I'm hoping that that comes into play later on and they add either another mechanic or find a way to make those more important. Because I think that's a really cool aspect that you can capture these creatures live and have them in your base and maybe study them, but I'd like to see it used more.
So while I've enjoyed playing this game and definitely understand that this is early access, as well as you folks should do as well, I'm gonna kind of tell you folks what I think about the game. And keep in mind, it's early access. Like Dimension said, they're doing updates to it, they're doing hot fixes, they are working on it. Please be patient with them if there's something that you do not like. But my opinion of this game is that it has potential. The storyline is solid. You are a test subject and you are there to help create a cure for your kid. You will have volunteered actually to be there, and something goes awry, and then that's kind of where the storyline starts. And as you go further and further, you find little tips and lore, and I love that. It has a strong foundation for a good game. And then its survival upgradability, as well as it looks like they're putting a lot of effort into the NPCs and creatures, making them look really cool. I can't wait to see more of this game. The downsides of this game is I think they released maybe a little bit too early. I would have liked to see a little bit more polish done to the actual functions of the game. Like, I would have liked to, like I said, see more action with the environment. I would have loved to see combat be a little bit more fleshed out. But The game's always updating and it's in early access. So who knows? Within a couple of updates, maybe those concerns will be completely gone and the game will be a gem.
I still think they have a lot of work to do, but I am encouraged by how quickly they're putting out patches and how quickly they're putting out updates. And I'm very excited to see where this goes in the future. I think it has some issues that needs to be tweaked and some things that need to be changed, but what early access game doesn't? But I am so very excited to see where they take it in the future. And I've finished all the content that is available in early access, all the quests and everything. And I can't wait for them to open up that next biome so I can go check out the desert area and see what kind of creatures I run into in there and just I've already fought 2 bosses in the game, and both times I fought the bosses, I was losing my mind, or when I saw the cutscenes for the bosses, I was losing my mind when they came around the corner. So I can't wait to see what they throw at me in the 3rd biome and what kind of boss I'm going to see next. If you want to see one of those boss fights, I think we have a clip for you, don't we? Of my reaction to one of the bosses.
Oh yeah, play that beautiful bean footage.
What are we doing? I don't like this. I feel like this guy is not dead. I feel like it's gonna come alive. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! 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 This is worse than that. Than the guy in the tank coming alive. Can't type on your phone. It's okay. I can read it.
Fuck! What a monster!
This is worse. This is much worse. I don't know if I'm equipped to deal with this.
Fuck!
I did say something else was down here, didn't I? Didn't I mention that?
Well, folks, thank you for joining me in our opinion of the early access game Serum, which you can find a link down to their Steam page below. Join me in thanking the Mission 119 and Red Falcon for being here and supporting the podcast. Thank you very much for coming by to talk for now.
See you in another dimension.